Stay with me, I'll protect you. Where do we go? Behind that wall, stay down here. Are there others? There's one more, stay right here, stay here.
An icon of comedy, a master of drama, and a man who brought joy to millions of people, Robin Williams was a brilliant performer. Over the course of several decades, he captivated audiences with his boundless energy and quick wit, thereby coming up with unforgettable characters that caused us to laugh, cry, and think critically. Each and every one of his performances, from Mrs. Doubtfire to Dead Poets Society and Good Will Hunting, was nothing short of a magical experience. But a man who was quietly fighting his inner demons was hiding behind the infectious laughter and dazzling charisma that he exuded. Fans, friends, and family alike were left with a void in their hearts after his untimely death in 2014, which shocked the entire world. The story of Robin Williams, on the other hand, did not come to an end there. There was one item that stood out among the many memories that he left behind. It was a letter that was so profoundly personal that it caused his family to cry. The note was not just any note. Rather, it was a heartbreaking farewell that was filled with love, humor, and an intimate glimpse into the mind of a man who carried the weight of the world on his shoulders. After Robin's passing, this letter, which had been concealed until after his passing, became a powerful reminder of the complexities of his life, the struggles he faced, and the unwavering love he had for his family. In addition to adding a new dimension to Robin's legacy, the revelation of the letter sparked conversations about love, mental health, and the battles that so many people face in silence, but keep hidden from others. I don't understand how a man who brought so much joy to other people could be struggling with such a profound sense of loss. In his final words, what was it that he said that caused his family to break down in tears? The question is, what does this letter reveal about the man who is responsible for the legendary roles and the infectious laugh? Throughout the course of this narrative, we will delve into the life of Robin Williams, exploring the triumphs, the tribulations, and the heartbreaking realities that shaped his journey. In this section, we will investigate the letter that became a window into his soul and uncover the details of the letter, as well as the lasting impact it had on those who loved him the most. The following is the untold story of Robin Williams' final message, a moment that left his family in awe and his fans all over the world reflecting on the precarious nature of life and the strength of love. In addition to his work as an actor and comedian, Robin Williams was a significant force in the world. The child of a Ford executive and a former model, Robin was born on July 21, 1951 in Chicago, Illinois. He spent his childhood in the city of Chicago. The fact that he had a privileged childhood did not change the fact that he had a sense of isolation. In order to combat this, Robin developed a quick wit and a vivid imagination, both of which would later become characteristics that would become his signature. After attending the illustrious Juilliard School, where he was a student alongside future stars such as Christopher Reeve, Robin discovered his true calling for the first time. Robin stood out even among the most accomplished individuals due to his limitless creativity and lightning-fast sense of humor. In a short amount of time, his talent won the attention of people all over the world. In the late 1970s, he became a household name thanks to his breakthrough performance as the eccentric alien Mork in the television show Mork and Mindy. Due to his contagious energy and natural ability to improvise, Robin quickly became a well-known figure in popular culture. Afterwards, a career that was unlike any other was established. Robin Williams possessed the extraordinary ability to switch between comedic and dramatic roles with ease, earning praise for both of these genres. Through films such as Good Morning Vietnam and Mrs. Doubtfire, he displayed his comedic brilliance by effortlessly delivering rapid-fire jokes that left audiences roaring with laughter. However, he was equally captivating in dramatic roles, as evidenced by his performances in Dead Poets Society, in which he inspired an entire generation with the statement "Carpe Diem," and in Good Will Hunting, in which he won an Academy Award for his portrayal of a therapist who was dealing with a grieving client. However, Robin's career was not solely about receiving accolades and awards. Rather, it was about making connections. His ability to make people feel seen, understood, and lifted was uncanny. He had the ability to do this. Whether it was through his performances, his tireless work entertaining troops overseas, or his generous acts of kindness, Robin left an indelible mark on everyone he came in contact with. On the other hand, an individual who was struggling with inner turmoil was hiding behind the glittering career. Robin struggled with substance abuse in the 1980s and later faces ongoing struggles with depression and anxiety. This is despite the fact that he was known to the public as an entertainer who thoroughly enjoyed himself. While he was able to make other people laugh, he frequently hid his own suffering. The devastating neurological condition known as Lewy body dementia was diagnosed in Robin during his later years. This condition had a negative impact on his memory, cognitive abilities, and emotional well-being. It was a diagnosis that not only explained a significant portion of his recent struggles, but also made him feel even more hopeless. As his health continued to deteriorate, Robin never stopped giving his absolute best effort, despite the difficulties he faced. The Crazy Ones and Night at the Museum, Secret of the Tomb are just two examples of the projects that he continued to work on that brought joy to audiences. However, those who were close to him were aware of the toll that it was taking on them. Robin was a man who carried the weight of the world while simultaneously striving to lighten the burdens of others. His life was a tapestry of brilliance and complexity. However, his struggles serve as a reminder of the price that must be paid for genius. His career was a gift to the world. As we continue to delve deeper into his narrative, the tragic events that led to the writing of his final letter become even more heartbreaking. He was a man who gave everything he had to make the world a better place, even as his own light dimmed. Robin Williams was not just a star. He was a man who gave everything he had, an item that would become both a source of profound sorrow and a treasure that would be deeply treasured, was discovered by Robin Williams' family in the midst of the heartbreak that followed his untimely death in August of 2014. This item was a letter that had been left behind by the man who had spent his entire life striving to make other people happy. Robin's final message to his loved ones was a letter that revealed the depth of his love, the torment he endured, and his hope for the future of his family. This note was not just any note, it was Robin's final message. Not only did what he wrote bring tears to the eyes of his family, but it also provided a unique opportunity to see the man who was the source of their laughter. The letter was handwritten and was discovered tucked away among his personal belongings. The pages of the letter displayed the unmistakable peculiarities that were characteristic of Robin's personality. The words were filled with his signature humor, profound insights, and profound emotion, and they offered a bittersweet farewell to those who were most important to him. In spite of the fact that he had spent a significant portion of his life in the spotlight, this letter was extremely intimate, written with unfiltered vulnerability and sincere affection. In particular, the words that Robin spoke to his children were extremely heartbreaking. In a letter that he addressed to his oldest son, Zach, he expressed the pride that he felt as he watched his son develop into a man of strength and character. By expressing his admiration for Zach's ability to forge his own path while still honoring the values that were instilled in him, Robin expressed his feelings. According to what he wrote, "You have a heart that can hold the world and a mind that is sharp enough to change it." The words that Robin wrote to his daughter Zelda were ones that would cause any father's heart to begin to ache. During his speech, he praised her abilities, her generosity, and her tenacity. It was Robin who reminded her that her creativity was a gift that could inspire millions of people, just as she had inspired him every day. "Never let the world dim your light," he urged her, "because it's brighter than you realize." When it came to Cody, his youngest child, Robin shared his aspirations and goals for the following years. One of the things that he wrote was, "You are my reminder that life is full of possibilities. You should never stop pursuing the things that make your heart soar, and you should know that I will always be rooting for you." The letter also went into detail about Robin's personal struggles, providing his family with an honest account of his struggles with mental health and the neurological disorder that had come to dominate his life. Specifically, he described how the dementia caused by Lewy bodies had clouded his mind and eroded his confidence. He admitted, "I felt like I was losing pieces of myself, and I didn't know how to hold on." He was unable to control his emotions. Even though he was in a lot of pain, Robin managed to inject humor into the letter. He joked about his propensity to overthink things and his ability to find humor in the most unexpected places, even in the most difficult situations. He remarked, "If there's a punchline to this life, I hope it's a good one," which served as a reminder of the wit that endeared him to millions of people the world over. His family experienced both heartbreak and healing as a result of Robin's vulnerability regarding his struggles. He expressed his hope that his loved ones would have a better understanding of the difficulties he is experiencing if he were to share his experiences with them. In his writing, he stated, "My laughter originated from a place of love, but it was also a need to drown out the noise that was going on in my head. If nothing else, I hope that I was able to teach you that it is acceptable to laugh, even when it causes you pain." Following the conclusion of the letter, Robin's words served as a soothing balm for the wounds that were caused by his loss. He assuaged the concerns of his family by assuring them that his love for them would endure forever and that they would always have a part of him in their hearts. In his letter, he stated, "You are my greatest achievement. It's not the movies or the awards, simply you," she said. The role of being your father was one that I will never forget. He urged them to draw strength from one another and to treasure the memories that they had created together so that they could carry them forward. "Remember that the best parts of me live on in each of you," he wrote. Robin's final words were both a farewell and a promise. "I'll be with you always, in the laughter, the tears, and the quiet moments in between. Hold each other close," he wrote. "Hold each other close." The members of Robin's family were overcome with emotion as they read the letter. The combination of his wit, his wisdom, and his vulnerability was a quintessential Robin, and it caused them to feel both tears and smiles on their faces. The letter was a gift for Zelda, Zach, and Cody. It was a way for them to maintain part of their father's essence even though he was no longer with them. The letter also helped them understand the pain that Robin had been carrying and the love that had always guided him. It provided a sense of closure, which was another benefit of the letter. The man who had given so much to the world and even more to those he loved the most became a touchstone for the family, a reminder of the man who had shared so much with the world. Despite the fact that he was a man who brought light to millions of people, Robin Williams struggled in silence with his own darkness. Over the course of many years, the well-known comedian and actor struggled with mental health issues that were not visible to the general public. It was the storm that ultimately shaped the heartfelt letter that he left behind for his family. His struggles with mental health, compounded by a devastating neurological diagnosis, created a storm that ultimately shaped the letter. Not a single person was unaware of Robin's struggle with depression. During interviews, he was very open and honest about his struggles with substance abuse in the 1980s, as well as his ongoing efforts to remain sober. In spite of the fact that he had an extraordinary talent for making other people happy, Robin frequently carried an emotional burden that very few people could comprehend. A toll was taken on his mental health as a result of the pressures of fame, the unrelenting expectations of the public, and the demands of his craft. Those who were closest to him were aware that he faced times of profound despondency, despite the fact that he masked his pain with humor and an energy that seemed to have no limits. Nevertheless, the final chapter of Robin's life presented him with a challenge that was unlike any other he had encountered throughout his life: Lewy body dementia. The cognitive function, memory, and emotional stability of individuals are all impacted by this degenerative neurological disorder, which is frequently confused with Parkinson's disease. When Robin received the diagnosis, it was a revelation as well as a blow that broke her heart. Over the course of several years, he had been experiencing symptoms such as confusion, anxiety, difficulty remembering lines, and a feeling of surrendering control. It seemed as though the man who had once enthralled audiences with his sharp mind and quick wit was gradually losing various aspects of his personality. The impact of Lewy body dementia extended beyond the symptoms that were visible to the naked eye. The feeling of disconnection that Robin experienced with his work and his identity as an entertainer began to develop. Although acting had always been his outlet and refuge, it eventually turned out to be a source of frustration for him. He had a hard time delivering performances that he had previously brought about with such ease. This struggle, in conjunction with the exacerbation of the symptoms associated with his condition, resulted in an overwhelming feeling of isolation. According to reports, Robin was overcome with fear and confusion in the days leading up to his death. He had a profound awareness of the impact that his deteriorating health would have on his family, and this awareness caused him even more anguish than he already was. The inability to protect his loved ones from the difficulties he was experiencing was intolerable for a man who had spent his entire life providing care for other people, whether it was through laughter, acts of kindness, or his unwavering devotion to his children. The fact that Robin chose to write the letter is evidence of the unwavering love that he has for his spouse and children. Although he was experiencing a great deal of pain, he desired to leave behind something that would provide them with solace and direction while he was not there. The letter became his means of conveying his love to them, explaining the challenges he had been facing, and providing them with a sense of resolution. The act was a final demonstration of bravery and selflessness on the part of a man who had spent his entire life giving everything he had to other people. On the surface, Robin Williams appeared to be a man who embodied boundless joy and boundless energy. However, beneath the surface, he struggled with challenges that became more difficult as time went on during his life. The weight of personal struggles that he carried in silence was frequently concealed by his remarkable ability to bring laughter to millions of people every day. These struggles served as the inspiration for the heartfelt letter that he left behind for his family. It was a final expression of his love, pain, and resilience. Over the course of his entire life, Robin was transparent about his struggles with substance abuse and mental health. It was during the 1980s, when he was at the pinnacle of his career, that he engaged in a struggle against substance abuse, and he eventually became sober. Robin continued to struggle with periods of depression, despite the fact that his public recovery inspired many people. He was very open and honest about the noise in his head and the tremendous amount of pressure that he was under to live up to the expectations of the public. Even though he was famous and talented, he frequently experienced feelings of isolation. He was caught between the image of the comedic genius that the world adored and the image of the vulnerable man who struggled with self-doubt. Robin began to face a new set of challenges in his later years, ones that would prove to be significantly more devastating than the ones he had previously faced. Lewy body dementia is a progressive neurological disorder that affects memory, cognitive function, and emotional stability. He was diagnosed with this condition. In the beginning, the symptoms were persistent, and they were incorrectly identified as Parkinson's disease. Disorientation, paranoia, insomnia, and an increasing inability to carry out even the most basic of tasks were all problems that Robin struggled with. The symptoms were intolerable for a man whose career had been built on his sharp mind, quick wit, and incredible ability to adapt to new situations. He started forgetting lines while they were being filmed, which was something that he had never experienced before in his life. Even though he had the ability to improvise entire scenes with ease in the past, the man now questioned his every action. As the disorder progressed, it began to wear away at the very core of who Robin Williams was, including his self-assurance, his creative abilities, and his pleasure. Robin was not the only person who struggled with the effects of the disease. He had a profound awareness of the impact that his deteriorating health had on the people he cared about. This feeling of helplessness was excruciating for a man who took great pride in his capacity to care for other people. Whether it was through his comedic performances or his generosity, it started to feel like a burden for Robin, who had always been the rock for so many people. A combination of the mental and physical challenges that come with Lewy body dementia, as well as the emotional strain that she was under, brought Robin to the point of breaking. The fear that he felt about the future, not only for himself but also for his family, was so overwhelming that it overcame him. It was too much for him to consider the possibility of becoming a pale imitation of his former self. In spite of this, Robin's love for his family shone through even in the most difficult times of his life. In spite of the fact that it was born out of this pain, the letter that Robin left behind was infused with his unwavering love and concern for his family. It was his way of explaining the struggles that they had seen but will never be able to fully comprehend. Despite the fact that his own light was fading, Robin hoped that by putting his feelings into words, he could provide his loved ones with comfort and closure. Shockwaves were sent all over the world when it was announced that Robin Williams had passed away in August of 2014. Friends, family members, and co-workers had a difficult time reconciling the man who had brought so much happiness to the world with the tragic reality of the struggles he was going through on the inside. The emotional response of the general public became more intense after it was later disclosed that Robin had left behind a letter to his family that was considered to be extremely personal. It was more than just a farewell letter. It was a window into the heart of a man who gave so much to others, even in his darkest moments. The letter became more than just a farewell document. There was an overwhelming amount of tributes, stories, and memories dedicated to Robin Williams on various social media platforms. A number of his fans discussed the ways in which his performances in films such as Dead Poets Society, Aladdin, and Good Will Hunting had impacted their lives. A great number of people went on to describe instances of personal connection, stating that his sense of humor and wisdom had assisted them in overcoming their own challenges. As more information about the letter became available, the emotional resonance of these tributes became even more profound. Even though he was in a lot of pain, the fact that Robin had taken the time to leave a message of love and compassion for his family only served to highlight his love and humanity. Additionally, the disclosure of the letter sparked widespread conversations about mental health and the battles that are kept hidden from the public that a great number of people face. The passing of Robin, coupled with the emotional weight of his letter, served as a catalyst for increased awareness of depression, neurological disorders such as Lewy body dementia, and the significance of seeking assistance. The story of Robin was brought up by advocacy groups and organizations that work in the field of mental health as a reminder that even people who appear to be in the best of moods can be struggling in silence. Robin's family, friends, and fans received the letter as a reminder of his unending love and compassion. It was a bittersweet experience for all of them. it came to be a representation of the man who was responsible for the iconic roles, a man who had a profound concern for the people he loved and the world around him. Not only did Robin leave behind words, but he also left behind a powerful message that vulnerability is a part of the human experience and that love can shine through even in the most hopeless of times. As ever, Robin Williams' legacy continues to be as vibrant as it was. His films continue to serve as a source of motivation for new generations. His humor continues to make people laugh, and his story serves as a powerful reminder of the significance of understanding and compassion. Not only did the letter he left behind, which was full of love and unfiltered honesty, bring his family to tears, but it also solidified his position in the hearts of millions of people as someone who was significant beyond the realm of entertainment. He was a human being who gave his all, and as a result, he passed on to the world the knowledge of how to truly live, laugh, and love without reservation. Robin Williams was a man whose boundless creativity and deep compassion touched the lives of millions of people. He was more than a comedic genius or an icon in Hollywood. He was a man who was legendary. Nevertheless, behind the laughter and the larger-than-life characters that he brought to the screen, Robin faced battles that ultimately shaped his final act. These battles included a heartfelt letter that left his family in tears and the world reflecting on the delicate balance that exists between joy and pain. In addition to being a farewell letter, the letter that Robin left behind was also a demonstration of the profound love that he had for his family and the bravery that he possessed in order to face his challenges. His words made it clear that he was a man who cared deeply for those he loved, even in the most difficult times of his life. His words were full of humor, wisdom, and vulnerability. The loss of Robin provided his family with both heartbreak and solace, as well as a means of preserving the essence of Robin and the connection they shared. A new facet was added to Robin's legacy by the letter, which was read by the entire world. The well-known actor was given a more human quality, and it served as a reminder to everyone that even those who bring the most light can struggle with a great deal of darkness. Important conversations about mental health, resiliency, and the significance of reaching out to those who may be suffering in silence were sparked as a result of this. The narrative of Robin served as a catalyst for change, fostering empathy and understanding in a manner that couldn't have been accomplished by anyone else. When people think of Robin Williams, they will always remember him as a man who gave everything he had, including his heart, his talent, and his laughter. The lessons he taught us about love, humanity, and the courage to face life's challenges head-on are his legacy. His legacy is not just in the films he made or the laughter he inspired. It is also in the lessons he taught us about these things. Not only does his final letter serve as a powerful reminder to cherish the people we love, but it also serves as a powerful reminder to seek connection even in the most difficult moments of life himself.